Today I flipped up by calling my dick a pee-pee and turning my wife off. My wife loves the way I smell after I shower. She tells me this all the time, so this is nothing new. After we got off work today, I helped her make dinner because she was too tired. This is normally her responsibility in the household, as she is a chef and I am not. She was really thankful, and after eating and lying on me, she got turned on. I fed into it and started dirty talking to her, nibbling her ear, kissing her neck and groping her. We're on the couch touching each other, preparing to get into the main course. She whispered, "I want something," to me. So I looked into her eyes, and with the seriousness of a king addressing his troops, I said, "Do you want my pee-pee?" She recoiled in disgust and told me to forget it. This happened 2 weeks ago, and she's still refusing to do anything sexual with me. I'm getting desperate. I don't really see how what I did was that bad. Any advice on how to fix my mistake would be appreciated. His name is Vladimir, not Mr. Winky.
My boyfriend turned me bisexual. My boyfriend made me realize I am bisexual. Thought I was a lesbian until I met him. Throughout my life until last year, I had only dated women, and the idea of being with a guy grossed me out. We met at an event we both volunteered for and became friends. As we got closer, I found myself thinking about him more and more. When I realized I had developed feelings for him, it terrified me. I had always believed I was a lesbian, and then I developed feelings for a guy. Everything I knew was wrong. In an attempt to make the feelings go away, I tried distancing myself from him, but they persisted. Eventually, I gave in and asked him out. Once I convinced him that I wasn't joking, he accepted, and we started dating. Dating him wasn't that different from dating a girl. The sex felt strange, but he was incredibly accommodating. The first couple of times, he made sure I was comfortable, and he was so careful and gentle. The thought of being with any other guy still grosses me out. Being with my boyfriend makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. I have no idea why he's the only guy I like, but the year we've been together has probably been the best year of my life. He understands me, and he gives the best hugs. We live together, and he's an amazing roommate and an amazing boyfriend. My boyfriend has disappeared every weekend for the past 3 years, and I just found out he's been lying to me about where he goes. My boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years. We don't live together, but we are close enough to spend a lot of time together. However, it is very rare for us to spend a whole day together. When we have, it's been a weekday where our schedules have just happened to line up. We have never spent a day on the weekend together. He works as a research assistant while getting his PhD. Every single weekend for the 3 years we've been together, he insists he has work. I realize how stupid I've been now, but foolishly I trusted him. I trusted that he had work every single weekend for 3 years. That was until today. I've been studying for finals and it's the toughest it's ever been, so I was craving some time with him. Just a day where we could kick back and relax with each other. Of course he says he can't because he's working, and I shut up about it. So, today I'm getting antsy anyway, and hoping we could at least spend the evening together. I end up texting him, asking when he thinks he'll be back, and we can spend the night. I've done this plenty of times before, and he always responds fairly quickly. This time I'm waiting for a while. After 2 hours, I decide to text a work friend of his, who's also a research assistant with him. Wouldn't you know it, it turns out they don't have work today. In fact, he informs me in that same text that they rarely ever have work on weekends. Rarely ever. So now, I'm sitting here wondering what is going on. I have no idea how to confront him about this. I mean, this has been going on for 3 years. If he's cheating on me, he basically has a second family at this point. But obviously that's where my mind goes, and I have no clue what else it could possibly be. Like, is there any possible explanation for this besides cheating? How in the world do I confront him about something he's been doing for 3 years? Since he's doing whatever it is tomorrow, do I just drive over to his place in the morning and wait and then follow him? Has anyone had anything like this happen to them before?
Our teacher showed us her ass. This happened when I was in 7th grade, so I think I was 12, 13 years old, which was about 25 years ago. We had a home economics class, and the teacher was new that year. She was in her early 20s and was one of those teachers who tried to be cool and friendly with the class. One of my classmates would talk about the different tattoos he wanted to get when he was older. A girl in his group asked the teacher if she had a tattoo, and she said yes, but she couldn't show us. For about 10 minutes there was talking, and different kids asked her to show us, and she finally agreed. She then turned around, lifted the back of her shirt, and dropped her pants halfway down, showing us a god-awful sickly purple butterfly. It had badly drawn wings where the bottom parts went halfway down her buttocks, in a weird narrow spot, then bulged out kind of like a drop of water. The class at that point got really quiet because a teacher shouldn't be showing us her buttocks. She noticed the awkwardness, quickly pulled up her pants, and asked us not to tell anybody. I don't think any of us did because she was still working there by the time I graduated from high school. That's the day I think she learned to keep a healthy boundary between students and teachers. It was also the day we learned she didn't wear underwear. It was an elective class, so there were only about 10 of us in there. Not a full classroom of 30 students. I don't know if everybody else kept their mouth shut. I didn't tell anybody until I made this post. If any of the other kids did, then the school handled it quietly. All I know is she was still teaching there 5 years later when I graduated from high school.
I posted my nudes online as a silent fuck you to my fiancé. I am using another account. Posted my nudes on a random subreddit a few nights ago as a silent gesture to my fiancé. He has a porn addiction that has been a recurring issue for the past 10 years in our relationship. I decided that if you can't beat them, join them. So, I posted my nudes on a random subreddit that I knew he had looked at, hoping he would see me. He would probably recognize the nudes since they were ones I had sent him. But then again, he's spent hours looking, so maybe he wouldn't even tell me apart. I looked fantastic. The photos were sexy and tasteful, faceless of course. My messages blew up, and comments came flooding in. It felt so good to see all these strangers complimenting me and my body, something I've been craving for such a long time. I didn't reply to any of the comments or messages, and I deleted the post after about an hour as I got paranoid. But man, it felt so good. I foresee myself posting again when I need a reminder of what a badass I am. I kind of feel bad, but also, screw him.
This guy was mean to me and forbid me to speak to a girl at a party, so I got her number, and we got on a date. I was at a party in Paris at a rich guy's apartment. I went with a friend but didn't know the host of the party. At one point, the host asked all the men in the place to meet in the kitchen, and told us that a Ukrainian model was coming in 30 minutes, and he forbade us to speak to her as she was his target for the evening. I said, "Well, she is going to feel weird if no one speaks to her." He replied, "Haha, don't worry, dude. You have 0 chances anyway, leave the work to the pros." So when she arrived at the party, everyone was acting weird, and the host went and tried to speak to her to make her feel comfortable, but it was clear she was not feeling good with him. When the guy went to the toilets, I went near her and heard her speak to someone else about an art exhibition that I had just seen. So we started to chat, and the guy came back, saw it, and was furious. Everyone at the party was staring at me chatting with the model, and she asked me to sit with her to keep speaking about art and cinema. Then she told me she had to go anyway and asked for my number. The host saw her record my number in her phone, and leaving. After she left, every guy in the room was like, "OMG, dude. Wow, she asked for your number." And the host was so pissed that he stayed all night in the kitchen, just to avoid seeing me or hearing about my incredible achievement. 1 week later, I had a date with the model. Turns out she was one of the most self-centered people I ever met. She spoke about herself the whole date, and I think never asked me any questions. So the date went nowhere for me. But the feeling of humiliating this rich, pretentious guy in front of all his friends was way better than a successful date.